I went into Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith, followed that up with Yeah by Usher. And before you know it, I was into Atomic Dog. A song that gets the guys fired up around here would be Turned Down for What?
Welcome once again to Mobile Music Thursday, where we talk to DJs all over the United States and in some cases all over the world to find out what they're playing, how they're playing it, and how they pack the dance floors and make it happen. And I get to talk to some of the most talented, some of the most experienced, and some of the best DJs all around the country. My guest on today's show is among all of those. And this person has been in this business and DJing for 32 years. He's like, what is that? That's like that's 3 decades of music that he's become a master of, and he's spun at events as music has shifted and changed. So we're going to find out what all has stayed the same through all that time. He owns a company for many years. He was part of a company called Party Boys, and then a few years ago he created this amazing company that was designed specifically for wedding experiences called Patrick Michael Weddings, which he has performed for with doing MC work as well as DJing and storytelling and all of the like and everything that goes with making those experiences really amazing and special. Person I've had the pleasure of knowing for a number of years from meeting up at great conferences like the Mobile Beat Conference, which is coming up shortly. Michael Durham, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jason. Thanks.
It's great to have you here. Michael's out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So, Michael, it's so great to have you on to talk about how you do what you do. So, thinking about your last event, the last wedding that you had done, when you went into that wedding or you got started, what's your game plan going in? I know that weddings, each one has its own nuances. But in general, when you know you're going to go do a wedding, what's your general overall game plan when it comes to the music you're going to be selecting for the night?
Well, after interviewing couples and getting to know them and understanding what they want musically, I also stress for them to allow me some creativity, to use my experience and my skill at reading the crowd and the ability to shift in what they have pre-selected somewhat musically so that I can make it fit their group. And typically for me, reading a crowd begins the moment they start to show up at a reception. The music that I'm playing typically is going to be something that's toe tappy. I'm looking for people tapping their toes, maybe singing along, tapping their hands, things like that. If I'm not seeing this, then I'll begin to shift the music in one direction or the other until I get this response out of the room, and it helps me later in the evening program music appropriate based on what I see during, quote unquote, the cocktail hour time.
So cocktail hour time, like do you go so far as play dancey music during cocktail hour, or how do you gauge that?
Well, cocktail hour music for me could be anything from Michael Bublé, Frank Sinatra, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews, John Mayer, Ray Tang, country music, a little Blake Shelton, things like that. But sure, I'm not looking for slow music per se, but music that people would recognize but not necessarily get up and dance to. I mean, I don't know anyone that would dance to, let's say, Blake Shelton's Honeybee, which is a great song. Not a really slow song, but not a dancey song.
Like one of those. So you're looking for the songs that are kind of in between. They've got good energy, but like nobody feels compelled to run out and dance to it.
Absolutely. Something that will keep the energy up, but it's not anything that's going to motivate someone to run out and dance.
Sure. So like if you hear, like you see a bunch of people are really grooving on Jason Mraz, and you see that they're grooving on a couple of these selections that you suggested, how does that inform you on the selections that you're going to make later on in the night?
Well, if they're moving to specific genres, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews, for example, that means that a poppy, rocky dance set will probably motivate these same people to the dance floor. Whereas if I'm seeing people moving more to a Motown selection or an oldies, a Frank Sinatra style song, a Bublé remake, for example, that means that maybe this particular segment of the crowd is going to be motivated to dance to Motown or to a 50s, 60s type oldies set.
Cool. And in your experience, like, how accurate is that in terms of, like, when you're playing an event?
Well, for me, it's pretty accurate. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I have completely drawn a blank and went, wow, I did that and it didn't work. And I, in my mind, thought that it would. But it's a fairly accurate thing. It's something that I've sort of developed over my years of being in the business.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you said you never had a blank out moment or like I have no idea where to go next, I'd say you've not DJ'd.
Absolutely.
Or you're lying. One
Yes.
of the two, because it's like that happens to all of us.
Yes.
You know, and then we're like, and then you're skilled when you like go, okay, I'm going to go into my list, or I'm going to go to this, or I'm going to go walk around the crowd, or do whatever it is to kind of get back in sync with like what people want. Just like the events that I hate to admit this, but having the event where I throw every single hook song out at them and they do nothing, and I'm like. Are you not drunk enough? I don't get it. What do I need to do?
Right.
That happens.
Yes, it does.
But the point is that we do our best, absolute best. So considering the last event that you did, which is a really, really great approach, what did you start off with? Do you begin the dance? Did you begin the last dance with spotlight dances?
Actually, the kickoff dance for the last wedding I did, the wedding was for Christian and Stephanie. It was on December 20th of last year. They were a mixed couple. She's of Asian descent. He's American. They chose to do a traditional wedding party dance, and they had me invite the whole room. It was a small wedding, about 60 people, a lot of family, and really, really close friends that they consider family. So they actually chose to use one of the hook songs, so to speak, We Are Family, and they asked me to invite everyone there to come join them in the dance, and then from there we went right into full-blown party mode.
Very cool. So, was that your suggestion in the consultation?
It was something that we talked about, yes, and it was actually more Stephanie's first pick, and I questioned her in detail about why she wanted that, and once she explained it, I went, that's a great idea, and I'll figure out a way to do this to where it's not just a, hey, folks, let's go dance with the wedding party.
Sure. Did finding out why she wanted that help you or inform you on how to set that up for the guests?
Absolutely. I want to understand the why of the music that a couple chooses. It tells me, it gives me a lot of information.
Yeah, that's great. So, okay, so then you said after that song you went into full party mode. So at this particular event, what does full party mode look like in your first song selections?
Well, early evening party mode for this particular group, I went into Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith, followed that up with Yeah by Usher, and before you know it, I was into Atomic Dog, moved forward into some newer stuff or some more dancier, upbeat stuff, LMFAO, things of that nature.
Okay. So, and before I go further, I should ask, do you play sets in terms of like doing like a set of 3 in a genre, or do you move around differently when you move between genre, beats per minute, intensity? Like what is the method to your madness when you're considering that?
I typically will do a 2 to 3 song set in a genre, or sometimes not necessarily in a genre, but in a beat range. Within 10 beats per minute of each other.
Okay, cool.
But having said that, at any moment I may do what I term as a left turn and just go in a completely different direction. Again, it's really more about feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see things happening in the room. I'm always watching the dance floor. I'm always watching the folks that aren't dancing, looking to see what they're noticing, what they're picking up on, so that their experience is a good experience as well. So I may change directions immediately, go out of a current hip-hop song into an oldie with, for no apparent reason.
Yeah, right. I mean, there would be an apparent reason. Because that would be a call that you would make, that you're going to do that, because you're always testing. It sounds like you're always kind of testing the barometer of like, where's this crowd at? Where do they want to go? Where, what's going to excite them, surprise them in the right way to create the next, like, oh, wow, this is fun, or this is different.
Right. Especially early in the event, you want to appeal to a broad range of musical taste. There are still older guests that are connected in there. And you want to make sure that everyone is having a good time. Now, later on in the evening, I may get into, more 5 or 6 song sets as opposed to 2 or 3, and let's change genres. Or
sure, depending on what they're digging, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And So you started out with like some pretty current and recurrent stuff, like Yaz as from the '90s, and you mentioned some other songs that have really been in the last really in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
since we're mid-decade. So the kind of within the last 10 years, is that how, do you usually start with the more of the popular recurrents, or was that something specific to this crowd and this event?
I never really plan on what I'm going to start with based on how the couple has chosen to open the dance floor per se. Again, working with Stephanie and Christian, they chose a wedding party dance and to invite everyone out. And because of the response of the room, caused me to go into music that I considered this is something that's going to keep the majority of these folks on this dance floor for the time coming up. And
right.
During other events where a wedding party has done, let's say, the wobble. And you can look around the room where they're doing this dance and sometimes invite guests out, and you see the different response that you get. If you don't get the overwhelming, wow, we're ready to do this, then I may follow that group participation sort of icebreaker song up with maybe a slow song, or go into a Motown, something that will appeal to the older guests to come up early in the evening. A good timeless slow song will always bring people to the dance floor. So
right. When a man loves a woman,
it really depends on their reaction to what the chosen way to kick off the dance floor is, as to which direction I'll go. But this group, they were upbeat, ready to go, and it was a big party.
Awesome. So how long did you stay within that that kind of genre of kind of doing the top 40 happy hip hop kind of stuff? And then when did you decide to change it up, and how did you do that?
I probably did 25 to 30 minutes of that, and noticed a little bit of wane in intensity in the party. And so I went into a slow song, something that will give folks a chance to refresh their beverage or to come dance with their significant other closely. And then I went back into a sing-along style song. For this particular group, it was sort of a hip-hoppy sing-along song, which is, I don't know whether they sing to this in your area, but Let Me Clear My Throat, DJ Cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's a great tune.
It seemed to work for this particular group.
Right. It's been a little bit more hit or miss now. I wouldn't say it's like a guarantee. I wouldn't call it like a power hook song. Like, oh, this one, like I play I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett, and rarely will anybody go, oh, I love rock and roll. I generally get a stronger response with that. But Let Me Clear My Throat, it's got a little bit hit or miss.
Well, this one was on the must-play song for the couple.
Oh, awesome! So you knew they were. So right away, they're going to be into it.
Yeah, asking the questions about why do you have this on the must-play song. She's like, "Oh, my wedding party loves it. We want to do this. We'll get out there and go nuts." Well, if you've got a bride and a wedding party out there going nuts, the inclination is for the guests to come join them.
Sure. Well, and that really speaks to you're not just taking their list and going, that's what you want to hear, okay, I'll stick it in, but saying, so why this song, or what are these significant about, and things, because that really does that give you a kind of a barometer of what the reaction might be and where you might put it?
Absolutely. I mean, understanding the why of the music to me is very important. Let's say the bride's favorite song was on the list and it happened to be I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. Great song, but not something you're going to play during dance party time.
Right.
So if it was left up to my interpretation, if I looked at the song on the list and said, hey, Jason Mraz, I'm yours, I'm going to play this during cocktail hour, and I didn't know that it was the bride's favorite song, then the bride didn't get to hear her favorite song at her wedding.
Right. So absolutely.
This is why you ask, tell me about this music. Why did you pick this particular song?
Sure.
What's the significance to it? This way, to play the I'm Yours during dinner when the bride and groom are in the room, so they get to hear their favorite song. And you don't have a bride coming up saying, hey, play I'm Yours in the middle of a packed dance floor, which is going to empty your dance floor.
Right. Right. This is going to do bad things. Right now. Okay. How can I make you understand that? So what I'm wondering is, like, if I was, so now you're playing in the South, and your clientele are primarily those with Southern sensibilities. They don't have regional tastes and things like that. So if I was going to come down and DJ in Knoxville, what would I need to know about people in Knoxville or about music tastes there. You know, shag was really popular in the South for a long time. Is that something that still exists, and or are there new things that are really specific to the region of the country?
You know, shag is still around a little bit, not as much as in years past. I think regionally to this area, you would need to make sure you knew all of the songs for the line dances.
Oh, okay.
Not just the hip hop versions, but they will line dance to anything.
Oh, wow. So like you're going to pull out Hot Chocolate.
Yes.
And they'll line dance to that. They just love line dancing.
Being in Knoxville, home of the Vols, you have to play Rocky Top. You also have to remember to use Sweet Home Alabama sparingly because we do not like Alabama.
Has that become a groaner?
Pardon me?
Has that become kind of a groaner?
Sometimes not. It depends. If it's during football season, yeah, they'll whine. Why did you play that type thing? And you know, it's rare that even shows up on a request list these days, but it does from time to time. So
if it doesn't show up, do you avoid playing it?
It's not so much that I avoid playing it, but it's not something that just jumps out in my mind. Hey, drop this.
It's not going to be your first choice.
Correct. You know, yes, there are times when I've used a short 30 seconds of it to bridge from one thing to another, just because I knew it would create a jump in energy to hear, you know, the guitar lick, the recognizable guitar riff. So.
Right. What are some of the new songs that are out right now? And when I say right now, I mean like within the last 2 years. You know, that have been really popular just within mainstream music, radio, and otherwise. That you are seeing like strong responses on your dance floors. Last fall, let's say.
Couple of Pitbull tunes, Timber and. Wow, really?
Oh, I know. This is brain freeze. Don't feel bad. This is not you looking bad. This is
Fireball. Sorry, took me a minute. Fireball by Pitbull is doing well.
Okay.
The Taylor Swift, Shake It Off.
Yeah.
Blank Face, obviously a very popular tune.
Those are huge. Are they kind of the girl anthems, like all the girls pack the floor like they used to do with Katy Perry?
Absolutely. Yeah, and Katy Perry as well. Katy Perry is another dance floor packer as well. Girl anthems would be a great way to deem that. Right.
Are there any, are there any guy anthems? The closest thing to a guy anthem that I ever had was the My Own Worst Enemy.
Yes, I see that, but not so much. I guess a song that gets the guys fired up around here would be Turned Down for What? Because they want to get out and do the wave.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Really, really good to know. All right, I want to ask you. The last couple questions of our interview are for you as a DJ and you as someone who loves music. Okay, and I set it up that way because it's like we all have songs that we really like and we all have songs that we really don't like. And this is in no way, and you're sharing this, is this to say that you're only going to play the song you like. You're going to serve your client. That's really clear from the very beginning of this interview. So right. Put that out there. So here is the question. What song do you really, really love and wish that other people, or wish the people you DJ'd for, loved to dance to so you could play it every time, but they don't?
Wow, what a question.
And if there isn't one, that's fine too.
One of the songs that I enjoy playing, and I do play it from time to time, given the right instance, would be Sandstorm by Darude. It occasionally will pack a dance floor as well as the most current popular thing out there, and other times people walk off wondering, why did that DJ play that?
Why did you play this?
Right. It's rare that I still put it in at an event, but occasionally I do, and it does have mixed responses. It was a popular song my later years in the nightclubs. Right. So holding on to a memory from the past, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's got an incredible build, really an incredible build. I think that's why DJs for years have almost became predictable that they were going to use it for introductions.
Yeah. Well, and Great suggestion, and I don't know why I've never used that for introductions before, but I've never used it. That'll be coming up soon.
Wow. Well, it could, but it could be a Minnesota thing too. It's like, because like it's things are regional to a great extent. I mean, we're one country, but we're lots of different cultures. Right. So that could be, it's something up here, just like there's stuff down there that you do differently. So here's my other question. This is the last question. So which song is it that you always seem to play that you wish would just go away? If there is one, and if there isn't, I understand, because some people don't have one.
I really don't have a song that fits that answer. I'm okay with whatever the music is that a couple wants me to play. It's what I'm paid to do. Do I personally listen to all of it at home? Probably not. I watch a lot of TV, spend a little bit of time on the web, obviously, but no, I'm okay playing whatever song it is that someone wants, provided I have a version appropriate for their event. Let's put it that way. All
right. So the Macarena, you haven't burnt out on the Macarena or the electric slide?
I hadn't played either one of those two in quite a while. So no, I'm not that burnt out on them.
Actually, okay. So I lied. This is going to be my last question. Has the Macarena did burn out to the point where everybody's like, don't play that song, right? People really fried on it. I've noticed that it's starting to come back. People are kind of like, oh yeah, it's like kind of getting nostalgic and fun to do again. Is it something that's coming back into your mixes?
I am having more couples show interest in it. I haven't had anyone pull the trigger on it yet.
Oh wow!
Yes, I see a lot of a song for me that hit burnout mode, and you're going to giggle at this, but "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls.
Oh yeah,
huge dance hit, but DJs played it and played it and played it when it was popular, and it hit a burnout point, and it's actually started to come back into. I'm getting requests for it. Play the Spice Girls. We like the Spice Girls, and it goes tenfold, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a new resurgence of girls that are just crazy about the Spice Girls again.
Absolutely.
So anyway, but that's what our job is as a DJ, right? What's going to make you happy? Let me put that together and make it sound amazing.
Right. Do it in a way so it's unique to them, so they go, you need to hire this guy.
Right, exactly. Because this guy does it right, and he cares about his audiences. Michael, what a pleasure. This has been so fun to be able to talk music with you and find out the way that you pack the floors, the way you work, the way that you make the magic. So thanks for coming on the show and being part of this.
My pleasure, Jason. Thank you.
That's Michael Durham of Patrick Michael Weddings out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm Jason Jones, and this has been Mobile Music Thursday. We'll talk to you next week.